Hello, you are listening to The Age of Transitions. I'm your host, Aaron Franz, coming at you live Friday, December 27th, 2024. And I have to say at the top of the show that the Ocelli Radio Network is not live. So we're not coming through the facilities of Ocelli.com as we usually do. And that's the first thing I just want to address before doing anything else tonight, is that Chuck is not well. Chuck Ocelli, my producer, the man behind the Ocelli Radio Network, the Ocelli Effect, he has not been well for a while. So you can go to Ocelli.com and see in the live chat that Kim, his wife, let everybody know that he's not able to do the show. So if you're able to, I would say please go to Ocelli.com and send a donation to Chuck, not just to keep the network going, but for him, because he needs all the help he can get. And that's true. He could use help. So if you're able to, go to Ocelli.com, send a donation, pray for Chuck, hope Chuck gets better. Do what you can to help out. And I don't know. I know that he had been sick, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening, but that's what I know for sure. And I also, on the same lines, Uncle's not going to do his show tonight. He didn't want to. He said without Chuck, he doesn't want to do it. So he's no Uncle show tonight. I'm doing this. I'm doing the Age of Transitions because I want to do my show. So I'm going to do this, but it's definitely not going to be the same. It's not going out through the network, so that's unfortunate. I am live streaming this on the Uncle channels, the YouTube, the Twitch, my own Twitter X account, and the Kick streaming account. I did set up a Discord page as well today, but that it looks like it wants me to verify something. Account is not verified for the live streaming. Whatever, I'll do that later. It doesn't even matter. Actually, I forgot to. There. Okay, welcome to the Age of Transitions. I was just saying that Chuck is not well. The Ocelli Radio Network is down, and if you can send a donation to Chuck at Ocelli.com, please do so, because he needs help. Forgot to press the record button for the podcast, but I just did. This is, you got to forgive me. I'm not used to doing this. Usually I show up, I log into Skype. Chuck gets everything ready on his end. He gets the network ready, the phone lines, all that. And then he plays the music, and then I just start talking. He sends me the file after we're done. So this is different. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing as well. But yeah, we are going to carry on tonight with the Age of Transitions because there's a lot to say. There's just so much going on. There's so much I want to talk about. I just feel like I have to do the show, so I'm going to do this. I will also take this opportunity. The first thing that you need to do is send a donation to Ocelli.com, first and foremost. But I also want to take this opportunity to once again mention the Patreon account, the ageoftransitions.com Patreon account that I have, my personal Patreon, and the material I've been posting to that. The latest material to that is I've been doing live streams where I'm playing this set of 8 tapes I have that me and Particle Ion, my friend Carlos from Trans Alchemy, back in 2009, we went to the Singularity Summit in New York City, and we recorded a lot of interviews with a lot of prominent transhumanists. So I have this set of 8 tapes of those interviews that I'm playing on live streams that are posted to the Patreon. And the live stream just becomes a video. So I record it live, but then essentially it's just a video that you can watch whenever you want of these tapes. And I'm playing them unedited. It's just an unedited interview set of tapes. So I hope everybody at Patreon is enjoying that, first of all, but I'll also say that I'm proud of those tapes. I'm happy. for a number of reasons. And one of them is that the people that I interviewed there continue to be in the news even recently. They are important people in the transhumanist movement, if anybody cares about that. But these are interesting people that continue to be relevant for a number of different reasons. So it's an interesting set of interviews. There's other clips in there that are also, for me at least, fun to watch. So check out the Patreon. I'm happy with the way that's coming out. And there's going to be more Patreon content. After I'm done with this set of tapes, I'll do more unique content there. So that's going to be good. Also, tomorrow morning, I'm going to be recording with Adam another episode of Themes and Memes. And we're going to live stream that too. So if you're watching this on my X profile, you can watch the stream when we record that tomorrow too. That's going to be Saturday. Going to be recording it at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Adam's on GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, so I have to line it up with him with that. But we're going to be recording the new Themes and Memes live. So if you want to watch the live stream, you can. And it will otherwise just be up on the Themes and Memes podcast feed as well. But we had a good time recording live on the War on Christmas Thanksgiving Spectacular, Adam and I. And I was like, hey, you know what? These weekend recordings seem to work out, first of all. But why don't we just keep live streaming it? Because, why not? Why not send it out to the live stream channels? So we'll see if we get any traction with these live streams. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to keep doing these shows no matter what. And on that note, I have to say, I am not Mr. Popular, okay? I'm not popular with my peers, if I even have any. I don't feel like I have any anymore anyway, which is fine. Chuck would be like one of the other only people that I feel like I have some commonality with, nearly. There's others. I'm not going to ostracize myself completely, but at the same time, I don't mind feeling like a rogue element in this weird digital surveillance propaganda matrix that we're all just playing around in. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm playing around in this global propaganda matrix. And hey, you are too. Let's make the most of this. But as I'm saying, I'm not Mr. Popular with whatever the crowd would be that I'm supposed to be hanging with, that I'm not. But also the guys that own this whole operation, the tech oligarchy, which is in charge now, if you did not know that. All the evidence is there before us, just staring us in the face. It's obvious what's going on, and yet most of us are missing the mark when it comes to what's actually happening. And thus the need for me wanting to do this show tonight. There's so much I want to talk about, continue talking about on this show. I will. I'm not going to stop. However, I know I'm just going to get shut down at every turn. I'm going to be demoted on these social media networks. I'm going to be shadow banned in whatever way, shape, and form I can be, because I know that the things I'm going to say are going to go against the actual establishment, and they're actually going to be challenges, real challenges, to those who are in charge. Unlike a bunch of other people who are up there pretending to be against the system, against the establishment, when they just have become it. You're going to keep on playing, keep on pretending, keep up the charade, playing a character, cosplaying. That's all they're doing. The smart ones know what they're doing. The stupid ones are useful idiots. And it's that simple. So if you are watching this, if you do appreciate this, send it out to people directly. Share this show. Tell people about it. There's this podcast called The Age of Transitions. It's interesting because, and you say why it's interesting. Whatever is interesting to you about the show, let people know. Share it directly with other people. If you're on X, repost these streams that I do. It's only with people doing that anybody's going to see this, because it's not going to be showing up at the top of the search bar on anything. Let's just be honest about that. This is how it goes. So thank you, everybody, for supporting however you can and helping to get the word out there. It means a lot. We're going to keep going as long as we can. It might be futile, but I am doing this regardless. Hi. Okay. So Patreon, happy about. Chuck needs your help. Send a donation. Ocelli.com, please. I still don't completely know what's going on, other than he's really sick. He has been. He'll get sick and then get sick again. I don't even know. I don't even know if he knows what's going on. I don't think he or Kim knows what's going on. But anyway, help him out. Ocelli.com. Repost these shows on whatever you're watching this on, if it's YouTube, if it's X. If you're actually watching on Twitch, you probably are not. You're probably watching somebody play a video game. Why would you be watching this stupid show? There's no reason, and you're not watching it. Discord, I don't know what's going to happen with Discord. The Trovo channel I scrapped because it was garbage. It wasn't even working properly, but Discord hopefully will be better. Whatever. We will just move on and talk about what's happening, because there's so much. Oh, I also wanted to mention at the start of this show, this dovetails with me being Mr. Popularity, winning the popularity contest online, is that regular listeners will know that I've frequently now lament the slings and arrows of finding guests for this podcast, and the process by which I try to get people on this show. It has become more and more difficult over the years. It's not easy these days. What typically happens, if I find somebody who I think would be a good guest for the show, I dig up some email or some contact information. Maybe I see them on a social media network, but I prefer to send an email where I can find one. And I send a message to them like, hey, I'm Aaron Franz. My show's The Age of Transitions. I would like you as a guest. Would you like to come on? Send them the message. And more often than not, they just don't get back to me. They don't do it. Every now and then I'll get some sort of response, but a lot of times it's just no response. It's very difficult to get guests now. It did not used to be this way. It is now. It's very hard. But there has been a recent change in the way things are working, which I find fascinating. And I believe I know what's going on. People now, instead of me sending messages to guests that I think would be good for the show, what's happening now is that potential guests and their booking agents mainly are getting a hold of me saying, hey, I am this person, or I represent this person. They would be a great guest for The Age of Transitions, or sometimes Uncle the Podcast. Got a couple for Uncle the Podcast specifically. Mostly it's The Age of Transitions. But I have so-and-so. This is who they are. They would be a good guest for The Age of Transitions. Would you like to have them on? I've been finding I'm getting more and more of this lately. And my policy now is that I'm saying yes to these things, because actually some of them are pretty good guests. And I can almost guarantee that they're the guests where if I got a hold of them, I wouldn't hear back from them at all. Now, there's another, I could gripe about dealing with the booking agents too, but I won't go there now. What I will say is that I believe I know why this is happening, how this is happening. I think what's going on is that guests and their booking agents are using AI software to find relevant podcasts for themselves to ask to be booked on. I believe these systems are somehow going through publicly available transcripts of podcasts and lists of podcasts, all publicly available information of podcasts. There are transcripts of my show and every show available out there. So I'm sure the AI systems can go through that and read over the relevant, the ones that are relevant to whatever the guest puts in. That they probably prompt these systems like, find a podcast about emerging technologies that talks frequently about artificial intelligence in the near future, and whatever things that this AI system going through my transcripts is going to be like, oh yeah, here's one that's, and you could even program it, say a regular posting podcast that posts at least weekly or something like, there's all sorts of parameters you could ask in a prompt to this thing. And I believe the Age of Transitions is popping up for these people as a relevant podcast. And then the system presumably can also find my contact information through the website. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, here's one. It found the relevant podcast, and here's the contact info from the website, the podcast website. And then the booking agent or the guest themselves sends an email to me like, hello, Aaron, or hello, the Age of Transitions. We believe blah, blah, blah would be a good guest. And you can tell the thing that really set me off in figuring out what was likely going on is the way that the emails are worded. It's worded in such a way that you can tell it's not just somebody that like has definitely heard the show or ever even listened to the show. However, it is relevant, and what it will usually do is reference something from a recent episode. It's like usually the last episode I did, it'll like reference something like, oh, your interview with this person was very good, and the way that you discussed this topic, and it'll be a specific topic, the way that you discussed this would be also a great thing that you could talk to this person about. That's what these messages are. And again, it's written in such a way as it's just this... Basically, like, ChatGPT is putting it together and curating it and going, boom. Like, I can tell. That's what's happening. So, this is interesting to me on so many levels, I don't even know where to start. First of all, doing the Age of Transitions podcast, I mean, of course, this is fascinating to me to see just another use of artificial intelligence being used in my little world. But the Age of Transitions is specifically about artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies. So I should be paying attention to this, first of all. But by the same token, I think it's the correct thing to engage with this directly. And I'm choosing to do that by saying yes to these guests. So when people... when I get these requests, these AI-generated guest requests to the Age of Transitions, I am saying yes. I'm saying yes. Please do come on the show. And then the headache of dealing with the booking agent, it starts there. But again, I'm not going to even go into... You don't need to hear all me griping about getting guests on the show. I will say that this is a welcome change for me because it might be one of the only ways I can even get anybody on the show anymore. So that's the other reason I'm saying yes to this, because, I've been going on and on. You've heard me complain about this over and over, that I can't get guests. Well, now I can, I guess. They're coming to me. It makes life easier. I don't have to do as much. The relevant guests, they are. They're people that when I see them, like, oh man, this person is interesting. I can't believe that they even would want to talk to me. But hey, bring them in. If they're crazy enough to do it, I'm happy to have them on. I'm trying to line a couple up like this right now, actually. So I hope that they don't back out and be like, wait, now that we're actually looking at this, maybe this isn't such a good idea. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they'd say yes and actually we're able to make it happen. Pretty interesting, right? That's what's happening. And I see Ruckus. Oh, hey, what's up, Ruckus? I see you in the chat. I do have the chat running. I can speak with you through that. So this is going to be a different kind of show because I never on the Age of Transitions actually interact with the chat. See, there's a chat. But yeah, Ruckus is there. Glad to have you, man. It's crazy. I was just talking about how AI systems are bringing guests to me, or the guests are coming onto the show via their Chat GPT style systems that they're using to find my podcast to come on as guests themselves. So it's exciting. I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes to every single guest like that. Happy holidays. Yes, happy holidays to you. So let's see here. There's so much happening. And yeah, this is odd not being on the Ocelli Radio Network. I'm not taking calls, but I can see the chat. This is the Age of Transitions. I'm going out live on the Uncle platforms, essentially the YouTube, the Twitch, my X profile, which is doing pretty good, the X profile. If you are watching there, if you want to do a favor, you could repost it on X. That would be much appreciated. But yeah, what the hell is going on? AI is big on my research plate lately. Yeah, well, people are out there using it every day. People are out there using it just in very mundane ways. Very, like, they're integrating it into their job functions. A lot of people with actual desk jobs and things like this. So it's out there in full force. And this is only the beginning. That much I can assure you of. So, I mean, I just, it's hard to know where to start, but what I will do is, here, I'll go to my X profile myself. I posted a couple of interesting articles today, and I'm trying to keep up with the silliness of the news. But, oh yeah, here's an article. And another thing that I wanted to mention, sort of in the spirit of New Year's, is that I'm going to make a point. Typically, I enjoy being self-deprecating. I just do. I prefer to think less of myself than to think more. But I'm kind of changing things up. And once again, in the New Year's style sort of resolutions, I'm going to take on this new initiative where I'm patting myself on the back, I guess. And I guess I'm trying to, it's like a weird podcast version of actually having self-esteem for once. And what I'm doing is just taking time to point out that I have been on the right track about a lot of different things that I haven't seen many other people even mention. So in that spirit, I'm going to bring up this topic, which I've been talking about on the show for years now. The general concept is that the military-industrial complex has been in a state of flux where it's shifting from what it once was into a new paradigm, into a new... What it is the old aerospace companies that dominated the defense industry. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, Bay Systems, all these guys, the old aerospace companies that were the military-industrial complex, they are in process of being usurped by the big technology companies, the new tech companies. Amazon, SpaceX, Palantir. These sorts of companies are rising up. And I do believe that it is a bit of a war within the war business between these guys. The new guys want to take over. And thus all of the there's so much to do with this, but this article, I'll read this article, which, I mean, just it explicitly shows you that this is now happening. Big surprise. So let's see here. This article is from Gizmodo. It's dated December 23rd, 2024. Title: SpaceX, Palantir, and OpenAI reportedly teaming up to score some sweet, sweet defense contractor cash. Oh yeah, Palmer Luckey's in the mix too. Okay, we'll read from this a bit. New Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse just dropped. According to the Financial Times, major defense technology companies Palantir and Palmer Luckey's Anduril are in conversations with SpaceX and OpenAI, among other tech players, to form a consortium to bid for U.S. government defense contracts. The goal of the group, which reportedly plans to announce its membership as soon as January, what timing, is to disrupt the prime contractors who have a habit of scoring major deals with the Pentagon. In the crosshairs of the consortium, there's Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Boeing. There's little question that the legacy brands do well bidding on defense work, according to the Department of Defense's fiscal year 2023 review. Lockheed Martin took home $61.4 billion. RTX, Raytheon, scored $24.1 billion. And Boeing got a cool $20.1 billion. In 2021, 71% of all Lockheed Martin's revenue came from contracts with the U.S. government. Blah, 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 blah. Percentages, big money. Oh, yeah. As the American Prospect has previously pointed out, these are basically state-funded companies, but the government has no real control over operations or leadership. So would the safety and security of the country improve by disrupting the Big Three's vice grip on the Pentagon? Probably under the assumption that mass-producing weapons of war and supplying them to allies for conflicts that range from mostly just to genocidal is a net positive on national security, which let's call that dubious. But this particular collection of tech firms as the hammer to bash the oligopoly, it's not clear that this is an improvement upon the status quo. Took the words out of my mouth. I'll just keep reading because, yeah, this is relevant. Palantir has carved itself out a niche as the Defense Department's go-to for AI systems. Just this year, it snagged a $100 million contract to build the military AI-powered targeting tools and $480 million to expand the Pentagon's data analysis and decision-making tools. The company has been more than happy to lend its tech to programs that are at best ethically questionable, including being the technological backbone of the Trump administration's immigration and customs enforcement, helping lead to the breakup of migrant families. Okay, anyway, Trump is in on this. Wow. Boy, you don't say. What a surprise. So there. These guys are forming a consortium. They're getting together to boot out the old aerospace guys and ring in a new era of defense contracting. That's what's going on. Again, I've been saying this forever. Not that it matters because nobody cares what I say. Let's see here. So there's that article. And then I posted another article, which is pretty interesting. I'll read from this real quick. This is from defensescoop.com, dated December 18th, 2024. Title of this article, CDAO, the Pentagon's AI Accelerating Office, undergoing restructuring before presidential transition. All of the management changes are expected to fully take effect by January 6th. Boy, there's that date again. Gee, what does that have to do with anything? Hold that thought. We might get back to that. In her final months as the Pentagon's second permanent chief digital and artificial intelligence officer, Dr. Radha Plum and her team have been reshaping some of the hub's directorates and acceleration cells to more quickly and strategically scale proven and experimental AI-enabled capabilities across the U.S. military at a pace that more closely matches real-world needs. The good news is it's just a very natural evolution from what was already there, Plum told Defense Scoop Monday during an exclusive interview at the Pentagon. When it first achieved full operational capability in 2022, the CDAO was structured around 4 combined predecessor organizations. The Joint Artificial Intelligence Center, JAIC, Defense Digital Service, DDS, Office of the Chief Data Officer, and the Advana Program. Plum, who before this role served as Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition Sustainment, assumed leadership after the office's first chief, longtime commercial tech executive Craig Martell departed in 2024. Okay, anyway, they're getting ready to make these huge changes. The Pentagon has been restructuring for several years now. They have been restructuring so that they may procure contracts from new military contractors that previously weren't there, but to integrate technologies fast, quickly, so that we may effectively fight this new Cold War, the new great powers competition that we are waging, primarily between us and China, right? But it's not just them, it's our other proclaimed enemies across the world. So there's been all sorts of restructuring, again, of the Defense Department leading up to this. And this is what is happening. This is it's fascinating. Yeah, and then Ruckus is saying Palantir stock has jumped 4 times this year. Palantir is huge. Absolutely. Palantir, again, in that previous article, they're leading up that consortium of the tech companies getting together to lobby themselves to get these big new contracts. So this is all going in a certain direction. I don't know who hasn't noticed it yet, but now it's becoming more and more obvious all the time. And yeah, they're getting ready for our new glorious leader to come into office in January. And it should come as no surprise there, because who backed this guy's campaign? The tech billionaires who not only own and operate these companies in question, but others. So the big tech, Silicon Valley and otherwise, the big players in tech got behind the Trump campaign, financed it straight up, and the reason they did that is this. The reason that they did that was so that they could get these new government contracts, so that they can develop their interests as fully as they wish. They want to set up a technocratic system. I'm sure they're excited about a new war on terror sort of scenario where we're frightened over cybersecurity and that they are the answer to all of our national security needs. They're going to be the ones there, just as everybody was there post 9/11, exploiting the military-industrial complex system for profit. So too, these guys are going to be there to keep us all safe. But they already own and operate the whole damn thing. The social media networks. Again, Mr. Trump campaign, Elon Musk, bought this godforsaken platform for a reason. Because if you're not aware, it is one giant propaganda space, this. We are being propagandized all the time. The ideas that so many of us believe are anti-establishment, countercultural, going against the system, sometimes they are, sometimes not so much. Sometimes all of that, the entire alternative media ecosystem as you know it, has been taken and used as a weapon of propaganda, a weapon of political and financial gain. And how was it that the big Trump man got so popular? He did it by exploiting these new media outlets. Online media. Everybody knows that. Post-election, everybody's having this they're re-examining, oh, well, he went on all these podcasts and it was a huge success and Kamala Harris didn't. And her campaign was telling her explicitly not to go on Joe Rogan. And boy, that was stupid. Yes, it was stupid. Because with all of the problems of online media and all of the lies that are baked into this mess, what is true is that this thing works. This is effective. And how is it effective? It's effective by using advanced analytics. Just as a podcaster like myself, if I were a true podcaster, I'd be obsessing over the analytics and the search terms and trying to, tailor make every post so that I'm going to get the most eyes and the most attention and the most engagement. If I were an actual podcaster, that's what I would do. I'm not, because I don't care about that stupid crap, so I don't spend my time doing that. I just sit here and talk about stuff that nobody wants to hear. But other podcasters who are successful, that's what they do. They use advanced analytics. Guess what political campaigns do? You think the analytics that podcasters have are advanced? The political world is absolutely replete with they're gathering so much data on you. It's absolutely ridiculous. On me. They're gathering data on me right now. They've already projected who I'm going to vote for in 8 years from now, right? Based on what I'm saying right now. That sounds funny, but that's what these things are basically doing. That's what they seek to do. And that's what the AI, the integration of AI is all about too. It's about predictive analytics and all this, but but it's true that the old media world is dead. It has been. It's been dying a long time. It's gone. It is all about online media. It's all about social media. It's all about these platforms like YouTube, X, yes, the true socials, even that kind of stuff, TikTok. And we could come at this from so many different angles. You could come at it from a demographic angle. Oh, what demographic are we talking about? We talk about Gen Z. Oh, we're on TikTok there. Gen Z is exclusively on TikTok, and they're getting all of their information here. And these are all the people that are effectively producing media there. And this is why. And who's the YouTube audience? Oh, Gen Alpha's goofing around on YouTube, but there's also on. So these systems are surveilling us. They're used to propagandize us. They're used to sell us a bunch of stupid ideas. Like we're voting for Trump for what? I don't know. Some culture war thing that you have been convinced is actually real when it was just an obfuscation to the greater truth. The greater truth is that these tech billionaire characters, it's their campaign. They have bought it. They have paid for it. They're inserting their guy so that they can get anything they want. That's what's going on. Period. Beginning, ending. That's what the Trump campaign was. That's what it is. That's what you voted for. If you happen to vote for him. It's just that simple. I know a lot of people probably don't want to hear that. I don't care. I'm going to keep speaking the actual truth until I'm completely shadow banned. which is probably going to be sooner rather than later. So yeah, the big news story that I didn't find out about until like yesterday, I don't think. I think my wife was telling me about this. I heard it, I'm like, oh my God, of course. But here, when I reference this, I'm sure you've heard this. Big story is that Ramaswamy and Musk are out there on X and on the social media, out there in the global propaganda matrix, doing their thing. It's their system. They're here to bring you a message. You're supposed to listen. Things are getting a little bumpy, apparently, because the common folk, the electorate, which did vote this in. They did. You have voting power. That's true. They're having a bit of an argument with the MAGA base in that they're trying to convince them that bringing in talent for the tech world internationally, so getting, like Chinese nationals, people from India, from any country in the world, name the country. If these are like highly educated, highly skilled people in the tech industry, we want them here in the US. Why? So that they can develop this technocratic system further, so that they can work for Mr. Musk, so that they can work for Mr. Ramaswamy, so that they can work for Mark Andreessen, so they can work for all of the owners of the system. Peter Thiel, oh yeah. The idea is to get them in and get them working. It doesn't matter where they're from, doesn't matter where they were born. Get them here, get them living in the U.S., keep them here. Now, the common folk, once again, the MAGA folk, are up in arms like, God, we're supposed to be deporting everybody, right? The idea that we brought this guy in to deport everybody. We're not supposed to be getting people from other countries here. These are the jobs that we good Americans are supposed to have. And so that's the debate between the actual guys in charge and the people that are the people who voted this thing in, who believe they know what's going on, but they don't have the first clue about it. What's funny is that this point has been part of this whole package for a long time. Eric Schmidt and all of his projects in AI for the government, where he's been constantly lobbying the Pentagon with great success to change their whole system so that, again, procure technologies faster, so that we can develop AI, so that all these tech companies can get contracts and sell the Pentagon products faster. For what? To protect us from evil China, and so that we don't lose the race, right? This new Cold War race. We got to stay competitive. We got to be quick. Part of this whole package has always been, they always mention this, is that we need to get people from everywhere. We need to get the best talent from around the world. They need to come to the U.S. We need to bring them here. We also need to make the U.S. a desirable place for them to live. We want people to want to live in the U.S. We want that guy who's like this tech genius from China to not live in China and work for, whatever Chinese company might be there developing AI. No, we want him here. We want him in the States. Get him, nationalize him immediately. Give him citizenship by however you can do it, make it happen. We need this. Like every time they're talking about these projects, these tech projects, they always bring this up as one of the points. So this has been part of this conversation for as long as it's been a conversation. Now, again, the common folk haven't been up on any of this because they haven't been paying attention. They don't know what the conversation is. They don't know what this AI development scheme is. We're not supposed to know that. We're supposed to be playing around and worried about transgender baby operations, or we're supposed to be worried about sex change parties at the library or something. That's what we're given to care about. Okay? And so what I'm saying is that if these issues have been important to you, like Drag Time Story Hour or wherever the hell it is, stop it. Stop right now, because it's a bunch of garbage that's being used to obfuscate what's actually going on. Just quit it. It does nothing except make us stupider. It divides us. It gets us fighting over things that aren't even real issues. Quit it. But this is what they think. They think we're morons. They think we're just going to buy into this propaganda garbage. And because we do. Because, again, they have the analytics on all this. They know that when they put out that hot button garbage, they put it out on X, on Truth Social, on the TikTok videos, on YouTube videos. They know that you watch it. They know you watch it. They know you comment on it. They know you engage with it. And they keep posting it. They keep posting. They keep you distracted. That's why when Ramaswamy and Musk were like, they get up there on their podium and talk down to us, the little people, and say, hey, we need a bunch of Chinese and Indian tech workers here right now. You go about some racist rant about how we need to deport Chinese and Indian people. That's your reaction. Now, see, that worked really good to get this system in place, again, during the election, because they were playing to all of your base racism and stupidity. That worked out real good to put their guy in there, a guy that's not running a damn thing for the matter, so that we're clear about that. Trump's not running a damn thing. He's running just as much as he did on The Apprentice show. Keep that guy happy. Keep him thinking he's God's gift to leadership. And I'm sure in his head, he thinks he's running the show. Okay. I mean, that's the whole point. Keep him thinking that. Keep you thinking that. Keep the people believing that. And it will work. Most people will believe it. It's not going to be true. It's going to be our tech overlords continue to be in control. And every now and then they will come out there and they will tell you. They will try to, and if you notice, Musk and Ramaswamy are attempting just to tell you the truth. It's actually hilarious to me to see the resistance to that. And I don't quite know, honestly, what to make of this as a weird inner MAGA-style debate of the plebs fighting with the guys in charge. I'm surprised that they're not just tailoring some more propaganda to, get their base all fired up. Like, why they even bring this up? Why don't they just go and they hire all these guys and just not even talk about it? But whatever, I don't know. So maybe there are holes in their master propaganda campaigns after all, or it'll be interesting to see how this might get rewritten. So as this story develops, see how the talk may change. That might be something to keep our eye on as time goes on with this. So pretty fascinating to see that. So yeah, the new media reality, online media supremacy. And yes, Pupper, I see you in the chat there. That's what I'm curious. How will they spin it? Yeah, that's something to look out for. Like right now, it seems like they're doing something that they're like in real time realizing like, oh, wait a minute, we're saying something that's just matter of the fact when we really like, what are we doing? Why are we just saying matter of the fact stuff when we're supposed to obfuscate by playing these silly mind games? But anyway. Something to keep your eye on. Back to TikTok, the deadline for TikTok to divest and sell to an American company is coming up quickly. I believe it's January 20th. It's somewhere right around the inauguration time. Again, all these things are just lining right up for the new man in charge to be they're overseeing everything, right? But needless to say, it's coming up in January. This is a crazy story because it's one of those like twists and turns, one of those things that's changed, and the narratives have bounced around so much where you have to ask yourself, okay, today, where do we all stand on this? Like, what's the official line on TikTok? Do we hate it because it's a national security threat run by China, and there's the Chinese Communist Party is taking all of the American citizens' data and using it against the entire country? Do we believe that? Or are we more inclined to say, oh, TikTok is another social media platform that is imperative for the Americans to have because it's become part of our free speech system and we need it to express ourselves, and so many people are making money and running their business through it. We love TikTok because I'm waving an American flag. It represents everything great about America and our values. So, which is it today? What do we believe today? Is it the evil China is in charge of it, or that this is like one of the greatest American things that's ever happened to us? And once again, exemplified by our dear, dear leader, the whole story, really, he is like an embodiment of it, because when he was he still president when he was railing against TikTok initially? I believe so. He was very much worried about TikTok being from China. We need to do something about it. It's got to go. And my memory is that he was president and he said that. Then Biden agreed with him. The Biden administration was the one that actually went ahead and got this legislation going, where now it passed. It passed through the legislative branch, so that now, yes, TikTok is forced to divest because of this law that went through. But it remains to be seen if it's just going to play itself out according to, what the law says. Like, are they just going to straight up sell it? Or if they do, is there more to the story? Because Trump did meet with the ByteDance CEO recently, right? And so, and part of his change of heart, he's had this recent change of heart. He loves TikTok now. I like TikTok. Yeah, you like it because it's another one of these media, these digital media outlets that caters to you, your messaging, your propaganda, and it's owned by your guys, or, it's all part of their tech ecosystem, which your entire campaign has built itself up on that. So of course you like it because it helps you get elected. So that's why he likes it, and he knows it. He does at least know that much. He's told how this thing works. And he's told to go on these shows because there's good reason to do it. It is what got him elected. It's what made him popular. So it would be interesting to know if the meeting with the ByteDance CEO was what exactly was discussed. I would not be surprised if some sort of business deal is being arranged there, something to the effect of, oh, hey, we know that you have to divest. How about you sell to such and such a company? I'll make that a good deal for you because, but there's some sort of art of the deal going on behind the scenes, right? Where presumably Trump is getting, his people, he's getting the good word in for them, that they'll be the ones that end up buying ByteDance, buying TikTok from ByteDance. So TikTok will become the property of Elon Musk, like he took over Twitter, or maybe Zuckerberg wants it, or maybe Andreessen wants it, or just name the Silicon Valley billionaire. It's yours now. It's yours. And all these guys, even the ones that were presumably against Trump previously, are now just swarming in. They're dumping money into the inauguration. Bezos, our beloved Jeff Bezos, is jumping right into the pile because he knows the score. They all know They all know that this is this is like a smorgasbord like none other. Because these guys know what's going on. They know that the system is dramatically changing. The entire country is being retooled. And there is a lot of money and influence to be had if you know what to do. You have to get in. You have to get in there and show face. That's what's going on. It's that simple. And the media is doing this too. The legacy media, which is already lost, they're all just like kowtowing to this thing too. And they're just kissing the ring and they're changing their tune. The legacy media, but also online media that at one time pretended to be against Trump. They love talking about him and saying that they hated him so much, blah, 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 blah. Well, now, isn't it funny how many people are saying like, oh, I just had the wrong idea about Trump for all those years. I just realized that what I hated was the system. And now Trump's coming in to shake up the system and I'm with him. And this is just going to be great. I see eye to eye with him now. Like these turds from the new Turks, the new turds. There's so many that are doing this now. It's just absolutely pathetic. It's pathetic. It's just absolutely sickening. Nobody cares about anything. Nobody cares about the truth. They just care about getting ahead. That's everybody. Nobody cares what's actually happening. Nobody cares about the truth. People just want to feel good, for one thing, about the crap that they're gobbling up and spewing back. We're just reposting all the stuff that's meant to confuse and obfuscate the truth and keep us in a state of servitude. We just eat it up. We repost it. We love it. It's crazy. It's wild. It's the truth. And yes, the Doge, I think Ruckus was, you were there referencing the Doge. Here comes the chat here so everybody can see it. But Doge, we all know what that is, right? We understand what Doge is there to do. The Department of Government Efficiency. That's just there to tear down any regulation that might have even been left standing in the way of any further development of this technological system. So if there's any sort of guardrails that used to be there, they can just be taken right out. So that whatever technology you want to build, create, for whatever purpose, doesn't matter if you're infringing on anybody's previous civil rights that we at one time had, that's no longer an issue. Civil rights are not a thing. Privacy is not a thing. Utter complete surveillance is the thing. Control, ownership of the country, of the population, ownership of everything. It's going to be, Doge is there just to break right through and change the rules as you go. Make the rules up as you go along. What do we need to do? Okay. Let's just destroy this or that law that might have stopped us before. It's no longer an issue. That's what that's all about. So, and the Project 2025, this is in line with that. It's interesting how the Project 2025, so much of it was just about getting rid of so many federal systems in place and federal employees. It'll be interesting to see how that actually ends up. Be interesting to see how a lot of stuff ends up being. Oh yeah, another big industry is going to be the prison industrial complex. Because it remains to be seen to what extent the mass deportation initiative of this incoming administration, to what extent are they going to go ahead with that? They've reassured us that they're going to do it. It's going to be the biggest thing you've ever seen. So they're going to do it. It's just a matter of how big are they going to go. So, you buy stocks in the prison companies. You're going to make a lot of money. They're excited. They're excited. More prisons. Lock everybody up. Ship them out. Throw all those evil migrants in the prisons and then send them back to where they came, or send them back to wherever anybody will take them. And there's money to be made in that. This is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What else are in my notes? Let's see here. It'll be interesting to see how the domestic police state shapes up too. Because, that's, again, if we're actually looking at Trump himself, he has long been selling this concept that we need to crack down on crime. We need to clean up the streets, and anybody who speaks, anybody who was speaking up as a rally, he'd have his thugs, the security detail drag him out, and he always reveled in that. But yeah, he wants to institute a police state, and he said he wants to use the military. And he's ready to call for martial law whenever it suits his purpose, have the military locking people up. So, the camps that are made by these private prison industry companies that were made ostensibly for the evil immigrants and shipping them out, they can be used for us too, eventually. We can get all thrown in there if we're acting up, if we're bad, if we deserve to go there, if we're a threat to national security. And this does harken back to the Bush era, PNAC, all of the Patriot Act, and all the crazy eviscerations of the civil liberties we used to have pre 9/11 that just got torn apart during the Bush years. Well, it's going to be a continuation of that. It's going to be a continuation. Just keep building on it. Keep stripping away any bit of actual freedom that the American people have. Make them enemy combatants. Make them fight each other. Make them hate each other. Make the American citizenry happy to get jobs in these prisons and be happy throwing their fellow citizens away into these prison systems and watching over them and, executing them if they have to. That's the system that they want, that they would love to see happen. It's just a matter of, are we willing to go ahead and actually do that? I think a lot of people would be excited to be working in those prisons, sad to say. So that's what we're up against. We're going into this crazy world. And I had some notes about Luigi Mangione, and how it kind of tied into this. But that was from last week. I don't know if I completely follow my train of thought on that one. But I don't like where that whole messaging and the imagery and the iconography they're giving us with that, I don't like where that's going. It seems like a setup. It seems dangerous. It seems like something that's tempting us to political violence, which would be a pretext to do what? Oh, I don't know, have the military on the streets and round us up because we are legitimately violent and dangerous? Get us thrown in prison? It just seems like it's part of that to me. I don't know. Who is this? Fleet? Somebody in the chat. I'm not sure who you are. Let's see. Robotics as well. Yeah, robotics is a part of this. James Corbett made an interesting prediction about the CEO killer. Oh, yeah, I'll have to check out and see what James said about that. Crazy times. It's crazy times out there. It's wild. I hope you're ready for it. TikTok is not going to be banned. It's just a matter of who ends up buying it or whatever. Maybe they'll even let ByteDance keep it. You're like, yeah, never mind. Trump would be like, I like you so much that you just keep going, or whatever. I don't know what's going to happen, but here we go. Into the wild blue yonder. Keep getting scared by all this crap that these idiots, all these guys, you find it fascinating that these once reclusive billionaire technocrats are now going on podcasts themselves as guests all the time. Thiel seems to be doing the rounds, which is bizarre. I don't know if Musk, his business associate Musk, told him like, hey, you got to go on these podcasts. It's great. You got to put yourself out there. You got to market and brand yourself. It's important. I know you like to stay in the shadows and control things from there, but hey, why don't you go do the Rogan show? He did. And he was on some other show, Thiel. It's almost unbelievable how these guys are going out there in the public onto these platforms that they own and they operate and they control completely. And they're pretending to, play the game as it's meant to be understood. Like, oh, I'm on a podcast. I'm talking about interesting topics. I'm just off the cuff. I'm just having a fun conversation with my buddy Joe Rogan. And this is casual. And, it's weird, man. It is weird. So anyway, this was the age of transitions. Again, Ocelli.com. Go to Ocelli.com. Send a donation to Chuck. He needs help. Ocelli.com. Send a donation. There's no Uncle the podcast tonight. It's just the age of transitions. Perhaps, check the Uncle channels here at Uncle Podcast on YouTube, Twitch. Should be Discord soon. Is it Discord or is it Rumble? I forget which one it is. It's one of those things. I don't even remember yet. I set up a new one. What is this? It's Rumble. I'm sorry, it's Rumble. I get those things confused. It's all the same to me. Add Uncle Podcast on all those. Also Kick. And then the Franz Simulation X account. We might be doing a live stream this weekend. But tomorrow, on Saturday, I'll be doing a new episode of Themes and Memes with Adam. They'll be at 10 a.m. Pacific. So look for that going live on these channels too. And thank you, everybody, for listening. My name is Aaron Franz. My website is The Age of Transitions. As always, I will leave you by saying, seek or seek on. Sunlight, it hurts my eyes. Be careful what you say to me. It ain't a big surprise. Remember what you did to me.